All right, and we're back for episode 13 of the Cash Flow Corner. We're excited to have on Julia Anderson as our guest today and excited to speak with her and hear a little bit more about her past and present in commercial real estate. So I think just starting it off, Julia, it's great to have you on today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, then I think just the first question would be, can you give us just a brief introduction about yourself and really how you became a CMO?
Yeah, definitely. I originally started out my career in the restaurant industry, and kind of grew that business. I was one of the very first employees, and grew that business to, I think it's like 3.2 million valuation that they had about last year, which is kind of is obviously really successful in the restaurant
Yeah.
industry. But the restaurant industry was just not for me.
Hmm.
Very long hours. All the hours were at night. We were just open for dinner. Just very hectic, and I just didn't see myself being in that position for the future. Right, it wasn't sustainable for me. So then got into the real estate world. I had no idea about anything about real estate. My best friend actually worked for the company at the time, so that's kind of how I got my in. I was actually originally hired to be just an executive assistant. That's how bad I wanted to get out of the restaurant industry. Was hired there, and they were a multifamily syndication company. They had two arms. That was one of them, and then they also managed their own shopping centers around Louisville and Indiana as well. So I was more on the capital raising side and the syndication side. But quickly they realized, I could add a little bit more than being an executive assistant. So I came into the role, basically the investor relations role, where I built out the entire, CRM, did all their email marketing. We actually helped launch a podcast. We did a full rebrand, social media, the whole 9 yards when it comes to marketing. We were a part of a mastermind at the time, so I learned a ton in that mastermind, going to the Zooms, and they had a ton of great coaches, and it was really focused on marketing for capital raising. And but I was just kind of looking around and seeing all these people who, either were doing this on the side, they had a W-2 already, they were working 60 hours a week, but they wanted to find, more passive income through real estate. So they were, kind of struggling putting together and doing the actual marketing to raise capital outside of their friends and family. So capital marketing officer was born. And so basically what we do and what we help people do now is to craft a 6-month marketing strategy based on, where they're at now and where they want to be, and based on their target audience, and craft a 6-month marketing strategy on, how to get there, how to raise the capital. And then the chief marketing officer that we place into those businesses actually does a lot of it for you. So basically a done for you like marketing machine. Because as it's a very heavy lift when it comes to marketing. It is a full machine. It's not just one thing. It's not just social media. It's not just email marketing. It has to be all of those things for it to be
Yeah.
successful. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, no, I was just going to go back to your, like you said, your start of being in the restaurant industry, and I can relate to those
Yeah.
long hours when, when I first came out, I was in the sports management field, working with the Detroit Tigers, so I can relate to
Cool.
those long
Yeah.
hours, and
Oh, yeah.
hung in there for a couple of years and got some really good experience. But then at the same time, too, Aaron, my twin brother here, was working in Chicago as a broker with Marcus and Millichap, and that's kind of what got our wheels turning to get into the world of real estate. But yeah, I could definitely relate to you there, and want to go back on the topic more of the CMO and dive a little more into the roles of, what investors can expect, what companies can expect. So for somebody like you, what would be the best way to kind of explain some of those benefits, as it relates to the company and then as it relates to the investors as well?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing that we really lean on is education, is always leading with education, because I think that's why a lot of people don't invest, is because they don't, understand it fully, which it's very hard to fully understand it because it is, so complex. But how we kind of combat that is to always lead with education. So, creating marketing assets based on your target audience, obviously it looks very different based on the different target audience. So the first thing we do is always really define like who our target audience is. What are their pain points? How are we the solution for them? And then we create marketing assets around that. So answering, maybe a guide that answers the questions that they have in their minds already, because a lot of people are too scared to ask the questions as well. So we kind of, define that target audience and then craft, your marketing message around that, craft all of the assets around that, craft email marketing around that with education has really been kind of like the secret to getting people in the door, because they're like, oh yeah, like let me click on this because I know it's going to solve the problem that I have, which maybe be, I have a lot of money laying around. I don't know what to do with it. I know I need to diversify, but I don't know how. I'm looking to retire soon, but I want to make sure that I safeguard my money for retirement. Or, I'm newer. I'm a newer investor, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that looks like. So clicking on that obviously will get them into your funnel essentially from there, and then we educate a lot along the lines, and then obviously getting them on a booked call with you to talk about the specifics, answer any questions that they have, is kind of the funnels that we build and what we lead with, which is education and communication.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And that really lines up with almost exactly what we're trying to do as well, of really building out that funnel of really trying to get more listeners into our podcast, more people going to our website, checking us out, just trying to grow that audience just in any ways that we can throughout social media is so key, because there are so many aspects that really go into it. I know if you were to tell me and Jeff that a year ago that we'd be podcasting, we definitely wouldn't believe you and wouldn't think that we'd be here now. But it's just one of those things that helps you really get your message out to the world, really the people that you're trying to connect with. And just all those different avenues. I can see how a chief marketing officer really comes into play, because there is so many different things that really go on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I know me and Jacob have been doing most of it ourselves, but it's definitely, you can tell like once you start growing, you definitely need someone in that spot who can really handle that workload and really just kind of take over to really make it as efficient as possible.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people what I've seen a lot of people is that they don't have the systems and processes, in place. They're kind of just throwing spaghetti, against the wall, hoping that it sticks. And sometimes that does work, sometimes it doesn't. But having a professional like come into your business, assess everything that you have, really define your target audience, and craft a whole 6-month marketing strategy around that, and then execute, a lot of that for you will definitely, set you apart from your competitors and get you scaling a lot faster.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then I know you mentioned just the investors, and I would say from your aspect, just where you've been working, what you've been seeing happen from a marketing standpoint, what would you say are some common misconceptions that investors might see about really the commercial real estate world, and how marketing can really address these misconceptions?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, especially in your target audience who's a little bit younger, because I'm also in that target audience. I'm 26. So
Yeah,
I
we're
think a
right there
lot of
with you.
people, think there's a high barrier, to entry. So they don't even see it as an option until they're maybe, I don't know, 40, 50, or like about to retire, when that it's too late at that point. And then the other thing I think is just knowledge. Like they don't have the knowledge for it, so they're not even gonna, touch it with a 10-foot pole. So my advice to that is to find someone that you really trust. Listen to podcasts, consume their content, go on their website, be on their email list, and, just eat what they're feeding you, right? And like, okay, do I do I like this person? Could I go get dinner with them? Like, do I know them do I feel like I know them on a personal level? Get on calls
Mm-hmm.
with these people. How do they respond to you when you ask questions? Like, are they easy to respond, or do they like think you're stupid?
Yeah.
So I think if you just open your mind to the opportunities, because there are so many opportunities in commercial real estate, and then just learn, maybe find a mentor, but find someone that you trust. That's so important, because you can go so far with that. And I think another thing is that on the other end of it, I think a lot of people think that just having an amazing deal will raise you capital, whereas
Right.
like, especially in your target audience, and like right now, and like just the market that we're in, people don't really care about the deal, because like, if you're newer, they don't even understand it. Number one, they care about the person that they're investing with.
Exactly.
So you have to put yourself out there, like you said, create content, post every day on social media, start a podcast. Like, that's how you're going to get people into the door, because they're going to like, know and trust you that way.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And especially on that piece about having a good mentor, just really having a good group of people around you, especially if you're
Mm-hmm.
younger like us and you're just kind of getting your start, being able to kind of, lean and trust on some different individuals that have,
Definitely.
30, 40 plus years of experience in the field is really just going to help you grow and have something to go off of. And I know, thankfully for Aaron and I, we've been extremely blessed to have a couple good mentors back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee. So, just being able to have that good group of people around you has been, super important for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to go back to, you were kind of mentioning about all the different opportunities within the world of commercial real estate. If you could kind of just break down some different advantages for our listeners of, stacking up those advantages of the commercial real estate sector compared to some other asset types.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think diversifying obviously is a necessity, especially in this day and age, just to protect yourself. A lot of the commercial real estate assets are recession resistant, self storage, multifamily, so you never know where we're heading. You should always be prepared though. So I think
Mm-hmm.
commercial real estate is a great way to be prepared in that, and diversifying. And then obviously the tax advantages, I'm no tax professional, but obviously with the appreciation and everything, there's huge advantages there. Obviously there's risks when it comes to commercial real estate. There's risks when it comes to investing in anything. So you might as well just take a chance and, learn by doing, because, you could be in analysis paralysis, and, you look
Yep.
back 6 years later and you haven't invested a single dime, and you're like, okay, like, where did that get me? Like, absolutely nowhere. So I think just taking a chance and figuring out, what your plan is first, assess your risk tolerance, how much can you invest, what asset classes like match with what you want, creating a plan, and then just do it.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree. And I know for a lot of those first time investors that really reach out to us and connect with us, it's all about setting that foundation that you mentioned of really assessing what your risk tolerance is, what your
Mm-hmm.
goals are, and really trying to create a strategy around that,
Yeah.
and just trying to figure out, especially in the world of real estate and commercial real estate, of maybe what asset classes might be best for you, or just different strategies of going into a commercial real estate investment, because there is so many different strategies that you can really go into with so many sponsors. I know deals are always out there, but it's really just trying to find the right deal for you, but also, like you mentioned, the right sponsor and someone that you're willing to trust and have confidence in, of really going out and executing a deal is such a key part as well. So really just putting that all together, I think, really helps build an investment career starting at maybe a young age or an old age, but really just getting started is the biggest thing that you mentioned, because I know a lot of people, they just sit on the sidelines, or they just don't know when to jump in, or is this the right deal, or is this the right time? And it's always the right time. It's always the best time just to get in and start. It doesn't have to be with a lot of money. you can just get in with a limited amount of money and just get started and see really how it benefits. And then from there, I know we say it all the time, once you get started in one deal, you're going to want to join 10 others just like it, and you're not going to want to stop. So I think that's a really big focus for us as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people our age, and I did the same thing. I think you said that you did too. You think that real estate, at least I did, when I thought of real estate investing, I thought of buying and flipping houses. So I didn't know any
Right.
better. Um, and I did do that. A duplex that's down the street, and a lot of things can go wrong. It's a lot of money. In fact, they just had a leak like 2-ish weeks ago. It was a lot of money that you have to pay out of your pocket. And then I've heard so many times over and over again, I started with single family and now I'm in multifamily. It's kind of
Yeah.
like picking your battles, but you can make so much more money in multifamily and scale so much faster and so much easier. So yeah, you always kind of see people starting with single family and then going to multifamily. So it's like, single family, do you have time to fix and flip this house? Like, do you have time to receive a call at 2 a.m. because they're locked out of their house? Like, do you want to deal with
Hmm.
that? Yes or no? So it just kind of goes back to, what do you have time for, what you actually want, because you're signing up for that when you do single family.
Yep.
And then passively, if you invest passively in a multifamily deal, you could be making the same cash flow and not having to deal with the headaches of all that, the single family stuff. So you hear it over and over
Yeah.
again. I started in single family and now I'm in multifamily.
Exactly. I feel like it's just where people tend to maybe want to get their feet wet. Where do they want to start? Where it's like, honestly, that's why we're trying to get this information out. If you're going to start, just might as well start in multifamily and
Mm-hmm.
in commercial real estate. You're going to be better off for it. You're going to learn just as much throughout your first
Mm-hmm.
deal, and you're just going to grow just as much or even better. But then from there, kind of tweak or going back to the marketing aspect, I would say looking at the future, what marketing trends or maybe innovations do you think may help shape commercial real estate investing in the future or over the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI has already kind of made its way into the industry. So if you're not, on the AI train, or you're not using it, or you're not learning how to use it to
Yep.
to to help you, then you're definitely going to be left behind in the dust. So I think AI is huge. I've actually worked with a guy who built a CRM that's backed by AI. So it
Well,
honestly does a ton of, you know, the scheduling calendars for them, helps them out a lot, just save a ton of time. I've also seen, VR maybe come into to place when
interesting.
it's, yeah, you know, virtual property tours and things like that. And then also I feel like everything is an app now. Like my fiance's sister, she lives in an apartment complex in Nashville, and her phone is like her key. Like she has an app and her phone is a
Hmm.
key. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. So I think just
Yeah.
like technology in general, I mean, is going to change the landscape year after year. I mean, it's just going to grow from here. There's no turning back. People are going to embrace it because it's probably cheaper than hiring, and you see those trends in every single industry. So yeah, I think AI, VR, mobile apps, sustainability too. That's becoming a big concern. So building more green spaces and just keeping that in mind, with multifamily development. That could be something that's coming to the forefront, and I think it kind of already is a little bit. Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are going to change the industry soon.
Yeah, I know just hearing about a lot of those things from the different conferences that we've been going to, and
Mm-hmm.
really hearing about developers as well, of what's on the forefront of the technology from their aspect, just the way that
Mm-hmm.
they're building these new complexes, what's all going into the technology of each room, like you mentioned, of either the phone or just making it as easy as possible for the tenants has been the biggest key feature, and everything that really goes into the technology aspect just kind of blows my mind. And it's always good to hear about that. And then I would also say, in what ways have you noticed from a marketing standpoint really helping build investors' confidence throughout maybe a commercial real estate investment opportunity?
Yeah, I think building community is super important. And I think that helps with, community in general is just amazing because other people can lean on the other people in the community. You would be positioned as the thought leader. So, you still have much, control of that community. And I think that's easier for you to be, tied way more closely to your investors as well. And, as you grow the community, as you get closer to the people in your community, you're going to get repeat investors, which is awesome. So yeah, I think just building community and always offering education, always offering virtual meetups, in-person meetups, just always being top of mind. It can get you so far, because the people in your community will be, hey, they'll talk to their friends about it. Hey, I'm in this community with Aaron and Jacob. It's awesome. They taught me everything about multifamily. I'm investing now. Like, I make this amount of money, per quarter. You should join us. So it's awesome. Community is awesome for scaling. It's awesome to grow a relationship with your investors. And this whole business, real estate is a relationship game. So as long as you're keeping that relationship building at the forefront and constantly improving in that, and just, being there for your investors, I think will set you apart from a lot of other people in this industry that, quite frankly, don't care to build any relationships with their investors and they just want their money. So I think building community is awesome.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And, that's something where Aaron and I have been a part of some different communities, and it's helped us out just continuing to grow our network, meet new people. And it's something that Aaron and I, we're definitely, like you said, we're those relationship type people where we want to meet those investors. We want to understand your guys' needs, your thoughts, what exactly, the future outlook is looking for your portfolio. And we just want to be able to take the time to resonate with those investors. So, yeah, I feel like, it all goes back to that idea of having a community behind you and having a good group of people behind you. So I can definitely resonate there. And I want to touch a little more on the marketing campaign aspect of things of, obviously there's a lot of messages on, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's a lot of people trying to get content out there. So I guess my question for you would be is, what messages are you guys seeing to investors that really resonate with those investors and get them hooked? Or what's really working the best right now that you guys are seeing from a marketing campaign aspect?
Yeah, I think the platform that's working really well right now is definitely LinkedIn. It's super important to understand where your target audience lives and then just go there. Like, if your target audience isn't on Instagram, then there's no reason to be posting every day on Instagram. There's no reason to, waste your time posting on every single platform if, your people are only on X or something like that. But
Yeah.
LinkedIn, obviously everyone is on LinkedIn. Like, people, that are accredited are on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn as a platform is awesome. And I think a lot of people understand that in this industry. So if you're not on LinkedIn, then you're already a little bit behind. And honestly, I don't know that it's as much the messaging as it is just being consistent. I've been personally kind of went on my own like content journey, and I started that about like 6 months ago, and I've posted pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. And it was really difficult at first just to do it every day, just to come up with content. Like, I don't know what these people want, like, what do they want from me? And at first I was honestly being very like, I wasn't really being myself. I was like, I was giving a lot of tips with like capital raising with marketing, but like, I'd get like 2 likes, like no one would comment. I'm like, what is it? Like, what's going on? But then I started being like more myself, and I started, posting more pictures about me, and There's a guy that actually commented recently. He's like, I love how much like you're sharing about yourself because that's how you let people in. I think, your messaging and just being consistent and just posting allows for people to build a relationship with you, which is kind of the whole point, right? So, like I said, I don't think it really matters about it matters. The messaging definitely matters. But I think being consistent matters more, and engaging with other people matters more. Posting at this point is kind of just like, okay, I checked, I posted, like I'm being consistent, but I spend maybe an hour a day just commenting on other people's posts. And that has grown my following and my engagement times 10, which was what I'm doing. I'm literally just building relationships with people. And now I like have weekly calls with people that I feel like I already know because I look at their content every day, and I comment on their posts every day, and they comment on mine. So yeah, I think it's more about being consistent and engaging with other people, because that's how your messaging is going to be seen. So the more that you do that, the more your message will come across. But also, I think a lot of people in this industry, what they're doing wrong is say you're an operator, they're speaking more to other operators rather than speaking to their target audience. Whereas like your target audience may not even understand what you're saying, like operator language, like they might not understand the jargon that you're saying. So like it's kind of, pointless. And you might have other operators commenting on your stuff, which is great, and it will get you, seen and everything. But pay attention to who is commenting on your stuff, because if it's not your target audience and it's not potential investors, then you're kind of missing the point. So I think just focusing on your target audience, making sure that your messaging speaks to their pain points, and you're positioning yourself as the solution provider, while also, doing a lot of storytelling and throwing in a lot of, personal stories about yourself and about your experiences, will bring more people into the pipeline, and like I said, build that foundation for them to build a relationship with you.
I think that was perfect, and that was great, because I know that's really what me and Jacob have started to really pursue, because I know whenever we first started this, it was just trying to get content out there, but then I feel like you can only get so far doing that, where you then have to start really taking a deeper dive into personal life and really showing more of your own self. And then, like you said, on LinkedIn, of just trying to connect with others. And I mean, that's how we've connected with so many great people really in the commercial real estate world, is just reaching out or having them reach out, and really making those connections and forming those relationships has been really huge for us. And I know LinkedIn has been our biggest focus point as well, because I mean, like you said, Instagram, it's okay. I mean, it's great for, the people that you already know who follow you, or I don't know,
Right.
you can follow just some random people. But really on LinkedIn, you can just type in Phoenix real estate investor, or just really anything you want. You can get real specific, and you're going to find those people, and just connecting with them and having those conversations is massive. So, and I think exactly what you were saying, of just maybe spending more time connecting with them through that way. I think that's definitely going to be huge for me and Jacob going forward, because I know that's really what we're trying to focus on and what we're trying to really grow our audience. But yeah, I think that was perfect. And then other than that, I'm not sure if I have any other questions. Do you, Jacob?
No, I was just going to give Julie an opportunity to, I guess, share some contact information where people can find you if, they maybe were listening and want to connect with you. So if you want to, take a second to share some of your different platforms, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, obviously at Julia Anderson. You can also, if you want to join my email list, it actually has a lot of good resources. So if you can either message me on LinkedIn and say, hey, I want to join this, and I can add you, or you can go to capitalmarketingofficer.com, and then there will be a little pop-up that is the 77-point marketing audit for capital raisers, and then put your email in there, and then you'll get a marketing audit that basically goes through a ton of different assets of the marketing machine. So, CRM, webinars, social media, like LinkedIn profile, email marketing. There's a ton of different things, and just kind of ask you a ton of questions, and that will kind of, really open your eyes to where you're at with your marketing. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And I'm happy to, hop on a call with you after, go through it with you. And then we can make an action plan from there. But yeah, basically I just want to help as many people as I can, put those systems and processes in place to help them raise capital and help them help people, create more passive income for themselves, because more money, means more options for them. So, I think those are the two places that you can find me and get some more information.
Well, awesome. That's great. And I think that's a great place to wrap up today. Just want to thank Julia again for coming on. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us a message or shoot her a message. But couldn't be more thankful and happy to have you on today.
Yeah, thank you guys. I had fun. Appreciate it.